it's Carmen here, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world right now or which country you live in, we are all trying to do exactly the same thing. And what is that? We are trying to flatten the curve. But what is the curve, and why is everybody trying to flatten it? So basically, this is what we call a bell curve, resembling a bell that you can click below when you subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. And if we look at this graph, what we are trying to measure is how many people are sick at any one point in time. So if you were to imagine that this line represents the healthcare system, in other words, how many people can we deal with being sick at any one point in time? Now, usually the healthcare system is doing pretty well. Perhaps at certain points in time, we need a little bit more beds, and at other times we need a few less beds. But usually we don't reach the maximum of what the healthcare system can handle. But then something like COVID-19 hits, and all of a sudden you have this massive increase in the number of patients that get sick at any one point in time. And that's eventually what leads to this bell-shaped curve. And now you can see here, at this point, we are basically crossing or exceeding the capacity of the healthcare system. What we want to do is we want to reduce the number of people that are sick at any one point in time so that the healthcare system does not become overwhelmed. And so we actually want to instead see a curve that kind of looks something like this, so that we never actually exceed the healthcare system's capacity. This may mean that whatever it is, in this case COVID-19, may last for a bit longer, but actually never goes on to overwhelm the healthcare system. And so you can see that this blue curve is much shorter or much flatter than this curve, which goes up and overwhelms the healthcare system. So this may mean that the pandemic does last for a bit longer, but it also means that the healthcare system is not overwhelmed by the burden of patients that are coming in seeking medical care, whether for COVID-19 or for other conditions, like for example, heart attacks. If, say, for example, a hospital was overrun with patients and somebody was having a heart attack, what that would mean is that that person would not be able to access healthcare facilities because the healthcare system would have been overwhelmed. What this also means is that even if the number of patients that got sick all at the same time, and those patients who got sick over a longer period of time, even if this was the same number of people, let's say, for example, 10,000 people got sick at the same time, as opposed to 10,000 people getting sick over a longer period of time, it's much better for this scenario to take place, because even though it's the same number of patients, there's time in between those diagnoses, and therefore the healthcare system is not overwhelmed.